Groovy girls, I'm all dolled up. Absolutely no one requested this makeup routine, but I'm gonna give it you anyway. This is my go-to for when I go to events, festivals, nights out, and here's how I do it. I am the type of girl that uses the same products always. I'm a creature of habit. Don't fix something that isn't broken, you know what I mean? There's definitely a lot of tips and tricks that I have learned to use for my face. One of which definitely being base, which I have already done, but let me talk you through it. So after cleansing, I use the Real Barrier Extreme Essence Toner, and I'll be so real with you, have only used this for 7 months, but I will never go back. I used to use the Huda toner, and that did work, but then I went to a Korean skincare event at Pure Soul, and I just was really open and honest about my skin concerns. I was getting a lot of acne breakouts, and for those of you that have followed me for a while, you will know that my 20s, early 20s was the worst for my acne, very hormonal. But this toner basically mimics skin components and the structure for a healthy skin barrier, and honestly, it's worked wonders for me. I then also got introduced to the AtoPalm, I believe that's how you pronounce it, which is the MLE cream, and both of these products are MLE. So they're both skin barrier creams, and they've just really transformed my skin. I am running pretty low on this product now. I need to get another one. And overall, my skin just looks a lot glowier, a lot healthier, and I do this obviously twice a day. Sometimes I go in with the caffeine under eye cream from INKEYList. This is not a product that I use all the time. It's just if I want my makeup to last, I'll use this. And now this is a fairly new product that I've introduced to my routine, but for the past 3 weeks to a month, I've really loved it, especially if I'm doing like a full face. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Invisible UV Flawless Poreless Primer. Bit of a tongue twister. It's SPF 50, and I think one of the problems that I was having was I wasn't wearing SPF every day, and it really has changed my routine, and it just makes my makeup look so much better. So the event that I went to when I discovered that product was actually the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray event, and I said to them that I'm not really a matte or dewy girl. Kind of a meet in the middle. I like my makeup to look matte when I leave, but then when it's the end of the night and, you know, sweated a little bit, I like the natural glow. And that was when they recommended me to use these two products together, and it has stayed in my routine. On my lips, I've just got a typical Aloe Vera Vaseline. I don't use anything else on my lip. If I ever break from this routine, my lips are cracked. So again, as I said, don't fix something that's not broken. And as far as skincare goes, that's it. For this video, I have dyed my brows because I just prefer that look over using a product. But if I wasn't gonna fill in my brows, this is such an old product. You can literally see how used this is. And I mean, I'll admit, I've used this probably for the past 3 years. It's definitely out of date, but I don't have any problems with it, so I'm not gonna get rid of it. But this is the Benefit Powmade Brow Pomade, and I have it in the shade 3.5 Neutral Medium Brown. You can really see how dusted and crusted that product is. So first things first, I actually put on a skin tint. The color of my skin right now is my natural color. I haven't had fake tan on in ages, I haven't been in the sun in ages. This is just my typical skin color. And I find the skin tint just gives a really nice glow. It kind of makes everything the same color, it color corrects. And as you can see, I do have a lot of redness. I also have a lot of scarring, but my skin has come a long way. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I have the worst skin in the world, because as of right now, I don't have any active breakouts, fingers crossed. I am doing my period next week, but I do have a lot of redness there, and that's just gonna get eliminated by this. So my shade is the shade GT6, and it looks like it's gonna be so thick, but it really isn't. I love the smell of it as well. It is so hot in my room today. It's been raining all week, but for some reason today is 24 degrees, and I don't know why I've decided to film this today, but I'm actually going to taste film later this evening. I'm so excited. For a girl who loves movies, I've never actually seen the movie that they're playing, and all of you are actually gonna die deaf when I tell you what it is. But Clara just got home from South Africa, and it was her birthday while she was away, and she is the biggest Twilight fan in the world. And ages ago we were looking at maybe doing Ratatouille for taste film. I don't know if any of you have heard of taste film, but for those of you who haven't, it's basically where you eat the food that's in the film whilst watching the film. It is such a cool experience. I am going to film that over on my TikTok if you guys do want to drop a follow. But they do different films all the time, and when Clara was away I saw that they had Twilight as one of the new releases, and I know they did it last year. It got discontinued, but they brought it back due to very popular demand. So we're going to that tonight, so just thought I'd dress up a little bit. I know we just sat watching a film, but I'm gonna film content there anyway. And this product I do just drag down into my neck just to make sure I've got an overall color. So as you can see, that has eliminated all of the redness. There's still obviously a little bit here and on my cheek, but it's a very light coverage. It's kind of just given me an overall color. It's not too dark. It's just made me look a bit more tanned, a bit more glowy, a bit more alive, and that's why I really like that product. If I'm going for a more clean look, very minimal makeup, I will use this product. And it doesn't feel heavy on my face. That was a problem I had with a lot of skin tints. It just felt like I was wearing so much on my face and I hated it. So next I go in with this Dani Levi brush. Guys, this is also very old. I think I got this like 3 years ago at Dani's event. It is the best concealer brush, hands down. And I definitely need a new one of these, but this is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I've got this in the shade Medium 1 Custard. And I like to just put this under my eyes. This is kind of the concealer that I would call the everywhere concealer. I put this under my eyes, on my eyelids, around my nose area, on my chin. I have a lot of breakouts on my chin. I'm just gonna let it sit there for a little bit because I don't always do this step. If I'm, as I said, going for a bit more of a minimal makeup look, then I will just blend this out along with another concealer. But because I'm going out, because I wanna do like my full face makeup routine today, I'm gonna go in with this Georgio Armarni Luminous Silk Foundation. I can't work out whether that's the shade on the bottom, 4.25. I think it must be, but who knows? So my problem areas today are on my cheeks, along my chin, my cheeks again. Just get that full coverage all around here. I rarely ever have to put foundation on my forehead, kind of leave that be. But I'm just gonna get all along the jawline. Then I'm actually gonna go in with the Huda Beauty base brush. This blends everything out so well. And I'm just tapping that all in as well. Doesn't need any pressure. Still leaving that concealer around the eyes, and then everything else that's just left on my brush, I'm gonna bring it up onto my forehead. I've just brought you a little bit closer so that you can see what I'm gonna be doing over the next few steps. So I'm gonna take this flat brush. This is also from the Dani Levi collection. And I'm gonna take a little bit of that Nars concealer again. And we're just gonna carve out the brows. This is something I never used to do until around a year ago. And I feel like it just makes my makeup look a lot more sleek. And drag that out. Should also do it on the top as well and drag that out. I never do this part, the top of my brow. Don't really like how that looks when that's carved out. A problem that I sometimes have with my brows is I don't really have a lot of hair on these parts. This one seems to be growing itself back, but this one doesn't. So sometimes I will go in with the brow pomade and just kind of clean that up because I want them to be symmetrical. Even though we all know that's a struggle. But then I will just blend out the rest on my eyes. I love my eyelids to be just really bright. I think it makes me look a lot more awake, and I've got really veiny eyelids, which is such a random niche thing, but I think I'm just a veiny person. Not vain, just veiny. So I'm just gonna fix that corner, and that's it. That's literally all I needed to do was just fix that corner there. This one's actually really embarrassing, the state of this brush, but this is the WB Code. It is the best brush ever, but like this is glue and this is supposed to be longer. It's now, I've had this for years, but it is just the best brush. Probably should get rid of that one. Oopsie. Okay, now it's time for the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. This just goes in the exact same place where the other Nars one went, but I'm just placing it over the top. And this is my Ride or Die contour. It used to be the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand, and then I just couldn't justify spending that much money every time for it to just run out after a couple of months use. But that is so perfect for an everyday contoured look. But this is my absolute fave. I have had this probably for a year and a half, and I just feel like it's never running out. This is the Beauty Crop Juice Pot in bronze. I actually do need to somehow tuck these plaits behind my ears. Oh dear. And I'll just do a few dots either side. Excuse the state of my hair right now. Thought it would look really good, but in hindsight it's probably not the best way to do your makeup. And then I do also just put a few dots along my jawline, and the trick is don't put it here, but do a line like this. I know that sounds ridiculous. Okay, while that sits, I'm gonna go in and blend out this concealer under my eyes. It is literally incredible. It's the perfect pairing. My absolute favorite concealers. Look up when you're doing this, make sure it gets in all the creases. And I tend not to put too much in my inner corner because this is the part that creases a lot for me. That is such a big problem, is that I crease a lot. I think it's just because I have a really expressionate face. I've also noticed a lot recently on my videos that the place that I've had my nose job, if you didn't know I had a nose job, I had a septorhinoplasty around 3 years ago now, and basically where they removed the cartilage and remolded my nose, there's like this white V shape that looks as though I've just worn glasses and my makeup's rubbed off, but it isn't that. It's probably just tissue damage. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of that Georgio Armarni foundation again and put it on my nose. I don't recommend doing this if you are going to wear sunglasses, which annoyingly I probably am today because it's 24 degrees, but it's just a new part of my routine that I've had to add because I didn't realise that this was a problem until I keep watching videos of myself back and I'm like, what is that gap on my nose? It teaches me to have a rhinoplasty though, doesn't it? Now I'm going to blend out this contour. Couldn't tell you where this brush is from, my loves, but it is just a typical contour blending brush. And the trick is to just dab and brush up. As you can see with that beauty crop product, a little bit goes a long way. Like, that's actually far too much for me. But I'm just going to blend out contour on my jaw and blend it down my neck. I try not to put a lot on here. I used to. And then I realised that less is actually more with contouring your jaw. But by not putting it right under your chin, it kind of gives the illusion of more of a love heart face shape. But then again, that's the type of face shape I'm trying to achieve when I do my makeup. Just accentuating my features that are already there. I used to also, with this big brush, contour my nose, and then I slowly realised, no honey. You need a small one for that. I don't really know why I contour my nose because, as I said, I've had a septorhinoplasty. I love my nose now, but I love the look of a bronzed nose. I think it just gives the illusion that you've been on holiday, you've got a tan, all of that shebang. And I think because the rest of the outside of my face is contoured, I do just love a little bit of contour here. So now I'll go in with the tiniest, tiny weeniest little bit of the Juice Pot. So I like to look down. Go like this. I know it looks crazy, but I'm just going to blend it out with a little beauty blender. And sometimes I absolutely skip this step and I just kind of get my big bronzer brush and go like this on the end of my nose because I'm not really that bothered. But honestly, since I started to see tissue damage or whatever it is from my septorhinoplasty peeking through, I was like, I must do something about this. This literally smells so good. It reminds me of my childhood. It's just the Blush Filter by Huda Beauty. This is actually the small version. I'm just obsessed with the minis. You might have seen that over on my TikTok. And then I also go in with the Strobe Beam Liquid Blush from MAC. This one's a bit more reddish. And I also just pop some of that on my nose. And I just go in with the same brush that we used for the contour. Blend it all out. I like to blend it around the concealer under my eyes. Such gorgeous blush, honestly. Blend that all in. Okay, so the base is very nearly done. I know it seems like a lot of products, but it is just what works for me. I then go in with the HNB Airbrush Soft Focus Concealer, and I put the tiniest bit ever right there, like the tiniest bit. Using the same Dani Levi brush, I just tap that in the very inner corners. I don't blend it out. I just want it to be in the inner corner. This just brightens up that inner corner for me, and because I have such big eyes, I want that part to be illuminated because I don't want to hide how big my eyes are. I've learned to love that my eyes are big. So then before I go in with any powder, it's time for the Airbrush setting spray that I was telling you about at the very beginning. Quick shake, good spritz just to double check because I hate when you spray a setting spray on your face and then it leaves all these little dots. This one is like the only one I've ever used that doesn't do that. I used to use the all night setting spray and then I just got in my mouth. And then I just had to stop using it because it would end up ruining my makeup. But this one just doesn't do that. It just sets everything in place. And I like to do this when I've got my cream products, my liquid products on, because then the powder really does seal everything underneath. And while that setting spray is just doing its thing, I'm just tapping the concealer only around my eyes. I'm not doing it anywhere else because this is mainly where it creases. And now it's time for powder. So I use two. This one, firstly, is the Huda Beauty powder. This is the Cherry Blossom Cake Easy Bake by Huda Beauty. And I only use this around my eyes. I don't use it anywhere else. I think because I am such a blush lover, I like my under eyes to be a little bit pinky to kind of help everything seamlessly blend. I also think this is one of the best powders in the game. It is so fine. I mean, I've put it on, you can barely even tell that I've got powder on. It's not quite translucent, but it's so fine. It's just phenomenal. And I do this on my eyelids as well, down the side of my nose where I contoured, and that's it. I also use the Revolution Powder Puff, the softest, most velvety powder puffs ever. Okay, so that's it for that powder. but I do also powder elsewhere. But for this, I use the Laura Mercier translucent powder. It's a ride or die. I stopped using this when I was younger because I thought it got like super expensive, and it did, but I think it's expensive for a reason. And I don't actually get through it that quickly. I think I used to misuse it when I was younger. So for this powder, I put it under my contour, make a little bit of a line, like so. That just sets all of that, because I find that is where my foundation or my concealer or anything comes off, and it's probably because I'm leaning on my hand or I'm scratching my face or I'm just doing something annoying, and I'll just set all of this. See what I mean? How I like to be matte, but then I love what it looks like afterwards at the end of the day when it's all dewy. If I go out knowing that my makeup looks like this, I'm happy, because I know that by the time that, you know, I've been on public transport, I've got around a bit, I've sweated a bit, I know that it's gonna look good. So depending on what kind of look I want, sometimes I do leave everything like this before taking off the powder, obviously, or I do change up my blush. So I have these two cream blushes. This is the HNB Glossy Skin Blush. This is the tint in 01. And when I open it up, you can see it's a very bright pink. But then I also love this Milani blush. And this is the 120 Coral Crush Cheek Kiss. So it just depends what kind of vibe I want to go for. But both of them are cream. And I just use the same contour brush. And lightly, very lightly, on the tops of my cheeks if I want a little bit more of a lift. As I said, blush blindness. But I find that throughout the day, the thing that fades the most is blush and contour and bronzer. So I can make it look brighter before I leave, I will. I think I'm going for more of a pinkier look today. Okay, so far this is what we're working with. Obviously it's very powdery right now. That will be brushed off, don't you worry. But in the meantime, all of my Vaseline has soaked in. There's literally nothing left on my lips. Super moisturized, super hydrated. And normally I would do lips last. However, I love this product from Huda Beauty. This is the Lip Contour Stain. And I like to just put this on before I do the rest, because then it can just sit, marinate, look cute. I put it on and then I just blend it down with my finger. Honestly, these, whenever I use them, I have never received so many compliments about my lips. This one is on its last legs a little bit because this is my favorite color. This is the Toasty Brown. Okay, now that that's on, we're gonna move on to eyes. I know that I haven't done bronzer, but we're getting to it, okay? Don't worry, my broken Made by Mitchell bronzer is getting used. But I like to do this before I just walk out the door. So I'm gonna bring you in and we're gonna be doing eyes. I know it seems really dramatic to bring you this close, but it's needed because this is intricate work. Just gonna brush off the powder from our eyelid. This is a very old Fenty brush, by the way. I'm gonna use this Mina eyeliner. And this eyeliner is from a brand called AYN Nude. I don't even know when I got this, but it is phenomenal. Look at the tip of that felt liner. So this eyeliner is the 575 Color Pen eyeliner by Mina. And with this, we're gonna sketch. It's got a point on it, so you can literally just draw down like that. Very faint, okay? And it will come to where you usually want your liner to connect. You then also bring the liner down to the end of your eyelid. It looks very pointy. I know, it's gonna fill in some of the gap. And it seems really faint and you're probably thinking, how this looks nothing like what you originally showed us on the image, but it's a process, we're getting there. We're then gonna do the exact same on the other eye. You want the line to basically be in line with the end of your brow. Bring it back down to that edge. Now this is where our black liner comes in. You're just gonna tight line all the way to where your preferred end point is. Mine, I can't do my eyeliner all the way into my inner corner, it just doesn't suit me. So I just bring mine into the middle. And then we're gonna go back in with the liner from Mina. And this basically mixes the two liners. Okay, they look dramatic because they're supposed to be. So if you remember the really old dusted, crusted, busted eyebrow brush that I showed you, we're gonna be using that again. And with the remaining product that I've got on from when I did my brows, I'm just gonna bring that up a little bit more. I know it's dramatic, stay with me. This is the really tricky, important part. We're gonna go like this. Halfway, like so. And then you can see it really faintly, but if I don't love it, I can literally just erase with a concealer brush. And I basically want it to come around halfway, where the arch of my brow is where I roughly want it. Fabulous. If any of you saw my last video with the blue liner, by the way, this is the one that I use. This is the 850 Color Pen eyeliner from Mina. It is literally, oh, Mina's liners are my favorite things in the world, and that is the best electric blue I could ever find. So now, what you wanna do is clean that pen on the back of your hand like that. And then basically we're just gonna connect everything. And as you can see, I've gone way too thick there, so I'll just clean that up with a brush. And I like to make this part curved, so it's not so hard. This whole process is basically just to stop me making mistakes, because there's been so many times where I've loved my makeup and then I just ruin it by doing this. So then one of the final steps for this is we're going to use the Tiger Wild Obsessions by Huda Beauty, and we need this brown shade. I mean, you don't have to use this exact one, any dark brown shade is fine. And then we're just going to take a bit on the brush and fill in over the top of those liners. This outer part here can be as messy as you want it to be, because obviously we're just going to clean that up anyway. And this into here. Okay, now it's cleanup time. I haven't put any new concealer on this brush. This is literally just the concealer from when I did my brows. But of course you absolutely can. I just don't really want it to be that sharp. And that is it for the eyeshadow. I mean, I've probably done better, but it's one of those ones. Sometimes it can look great, sometimes it can't, but from far away, no one really notices. So let's zoom back out and do the rest of the full face. Okay, so I've just applied mascara and 2 other products to this eye, and I haven't done lashes or anything yet, but I'm just gonna do this other eye on camera. But the mascara that I use is the Maybelline Lash Sensational. I used to use this all the time in school. It is the full Fan Effect range in all black. I like my lashes to be dark. I'm also used to use the waterproof one in school, and then I would hate myself afterwards because I'd be like, I can't get it off my eyes. Oh, hello. Cutie girl. Put that top on you.
It's cute, eh?
So beautiful.
But I don't know if I want it out or in.
Do it out again.
Out, in.
I think with the hair out,
yeah.
But if not, in.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks more elegant. Yeah, I think that would be really cute. So cute, Piggy.
Okay, so what's the into your...
No, fair, don't worry about it, it's all good. Oh, I literally love this mascara. And I don't put any on my lower lash line. I know that's literally insane. I think because of how big my eyes are, whenever I put mascara on my lower lashes, it just makes my eyes look even bigger. So I'm just gonna get rid of the powder under my eyes now. Oh, that is so seamless. That is literally, there's no creases there. Oh my days. That one's actually gone better than this one, so I don't know what I did. Take off the rest of the powder. See, once you take the powder off, everything just pulls together. And then you can probably tell I've got something different on my inner corners here to here. So this is the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Stick. It's in the shade Golden Pink. I can't even tell you how long I've had this for, but it is so stunning. It's so easy to use. You literally just go like that on the inner corners. Beautiful. I love this stick. Then this one, obviously, because this is a more non-everyday look, this is more for like events and going out. I then use this incredible glitter liner from Collection. This is their glitter eyeliner in Power Stare. I get why they call it that. It's honestly, I don't know if you can even see, it's like chunky glitter, but it's fine. And I literally just run that along my lash line. Little bit on the top. I usually do this type of look for a festival, but now that festival season's over, I just wear it to events because I can't stop doing it. I love it. Okay, just while the mascara sets, be a bit too wet to add lashes right now, I'm gonna do the bronzer. As I said, this is the Made by Mitchell Blushed Pressed in some shade. It's broken, okay? She's old, but she's amazing, so won't throw her out. And I'm just gonna top up where I've done contour. Get down the neck. Add some warmth. Another thing I like to do is use the Revlon Skin Lights. If you've been around for a few years on the channel, you will know that this is my ride or die. I used to use it all over my cheeks, whereas now I just use it as a little subtle bit of highlight on the tip of my nose, so, and then I just make a line going up my nose. I used to put highlight everywhere, now I really don't love it. Okay, before we carry on with lashes, I always used to use this Peaches and Cream lip liner. It is my favorite, but wow, I've really got that eyeliner everywhere. Sorry about that. Very short and very sharp, which is probably not the best thing ever, but this is what I use to line my lips. It's too scratchy, so I'm just gonna take a brush and do it this way instead. I mean, I don't really need a liner given that I have already used the Huda Beauty one, but It's my ride or die. I really need to repurchase. But to save the day, I do have this really, really old Rimmel liner just to go around the Cupid's bow. And that little bit underneath. Just gonna blend. I literally love this color combo so much. Sometimes I then go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk in 2 medium, just around these edges. And then, don't hate me, I use concealer. So we're going back in with the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this never looks too dry on my lips or anything. So just a little bit there with the same brush. Okay, so that's the finished lip. I literally adore this lip combo, and I always get compliments whenever I go out. I just thought to myself then, I was like, where are the lashes that I usually wear? I put them in my mirror when I came back from the studio yesterday. It's probably actually better to show you them on this case. They are actually 3 of these cluster lashes from Aloe, all stuck together, and they go long, medium, short, and it's literally a long, a medium, and a short all stuck together. I just stick them with the Aloe glue. It's the 8-hour lash glue. It's phenomenal. It can last way longer than 8 hours in my opinion. And even though they are pre-stuck, I just keep reusing them. Hopefully you can see the gradient of the lash, and that's how I love my lashes to be. So I only stick them on the outer corner, and they only come to the outer corner as well. As you can see the difference here, I just love them to be on the outer corner, and I think it really accentuates the eye look as well. I used to always wear huge lashes, huge. It just doesn't work with this makeup look, but also I think I just don't love big lashes on me anymore. I love a cat eyelash though, so I just found it was easier to create my own. I also don't stick them to the very end of my lash either, because my eyes kind of droop down, if that makes sense, and I want a lash to lift my eyes, not make them droop. So while that glue dries, one of the last steps I do is I go in with the MAC Coffee Eye Pencil. This is also so old, my bros, and I don't use it for my eyes. I just make some freckles. In summer I'm normally full of freckles, especially around my nose, but not this time of year. I'm gonna do it just to add some naturalness back into the look, even though this is very far from natural, but still. And as you can see now, those lashes are lifting my eyes. I love it so much. And that is it for the finished look. So hopefully you enjoyed. This is just my go-to recently, and I love it. I don't think I'm gonna change it, but then sometimes I watch back my old videos and I'm like, why did you do that? This is probably gonna be one of those things in a few years. Who cares? I love it right now, and I always get so many compliments when I do it, and I'm just really happy with this look. I don't know where I conjured this up from, the dark depths of my brain, but I think it's so cool. I love it. The eyes are literally my favorite part about this. I think it looks really vampy. If I ever do want a gloss, this Rabanne gloss is the best. Just put it on for you now so you can see. Oh, how gorgeous is that? It smells like being fresh out the shower as well. I love it. I don't always wear a gloss, but this is more of like a nighttime thing for me. So that is the finished look, my loves. Thank you so much for watching. I will link all of the products down in the description just in case. I don't expect anyone to follow this step by step, and as I said, no one asked for it. Not doing an updated makeup routine in 3 years is giving me the ick about myself. So it's weird because I don't think I have the cleanest of makeup routines. I mean, I definitely don't. I'm a creature of habit, as I said, and a lot of those products I've had for years, and I don't need to buy new ones. Like, they're not run out, they're not old like that. And I know that products have expiry dates, but they work fine for me. So I'm not breaking out, I'm all good. I just use the products that work for me, so hopefully they also work for you. Make sure you follow me on all streaming platforms because I may or may not have some new music soon. My Instagram, TikTok, and all the rest of my socials will be here. They'll also be linked in the description. I love you all so much, and I will see you in the next video. Groupie girls. Wow, I haven't said that in such a long time.